Hey there, friends, and welcome back to another 3-Minute Thoughts. My name is Derek, and in the next 3 minutes, we're opening a chapter in the New Testament. Not rushing for answers, but rather seeking understanding what these stories were actually saying to the people there and why they've lasted so long. Means that they must be saying something to us too. Matthew chapter 17 is where we're going to be today, friends. It begins on a mountain, so let's climb that mountain together. Jesus takes 3 of his closest followers and is suddenly transformed on top of this mountain. His appearance changes, his clothes brighter than anyone could bleach them, it says. And there's 2 towering figures from Israel's past, Moses on one side and Elijah on the other, the law and the prophets. They appear to be standing with Jesus. It's a moment of clarity, power, awe, and honestly some spiritual confusion. This kind of spiritual experience people would chase their whole lives to find. And here, Peter, James, and John are with him. Peter is a bit overwhelmed, and in his overwhelmed nature, he does what Peter does. He would ask if we could just build a building. Let's build something. Let's launch a new thing here and hang out. We should just stay here forever, right? That's kind of the way it works. We don't want to go back down. But that moment can't last forever. And it doesn't, as a matter of fact. Jesus says, we have to come down this mountain. So they go down the mountain and immediately run into chaos. A father begs Jesus to help his suffering son. The disciples have already tried, and they've failed. Whatever power they thought they had on that mountain doesn't seem to work when they get back to the real world. It's kind of like coming down from a mountaintop experience in our own lives. And sometimes we feel like when we get back to the real world, everything changes. Jesus heals the boy, but later tells the disciples their problem wasn't about their technique. It wasn't about some right words or motions with their hands. It was about trust. Faith, he says, doesn't have to be large for it to be real. It just has to be alive. And that's something we should probably wrestle with for a hot second as well. What does it look like to have a faith that's alive? We'll get to this later on when we jump into the book of James, but a faith that's alive actually leans into what Jesus did and trusts that it's complete and whole, and it doesn't need anything else. Then Jesus once again talks about his coming death. No glowing light this time, though, no voices from heaven, just the reality that the path forward includes suffering, and they still don't understand. The chapter ends pretty quietly, almost oddly, with a story about paying the temple tax. Jesus makes a point without making a scene, choosing humility over confrontation, even when he technically doesn't owe anyone anything. Matthew 17 holds together 2 experiences that we usually separate: the mountaintop moments that inspire us and the everyday struggles that frustrate us. It suggests that real faith isn't proven by what happens on the mountain, but by how we walk back into the valley. Thanks for giving me these 3 minutes of your morning. Be well, friends.